Hey, what's going on, guys? Cova, and welcome back to another edition of Transfer Gossip. If you're new around here, make sure you do subscribe. I always say that because obviously you get all the transfer gossip as it comes from the channel. So this is what we're starting off with. It's actually like a team that has a lot of chemistry, mainly because like there's a lot of English players who are on the move. So starting off with probably a really big deal for me, and that is Pickford. So Pickford is about to join Everton. A £30 million deal has been accepted. I believe it's like 22 million up front with 8 million in add-ons, and Pickford is ready to go. I think Pickford was always going to leave Sunderland, but I'm surprised by the amount of money that has been paid. It's a lot of money for a keeper. I know Pickford is, 23? So he's got obviously a huge amount of time to play in the Premier League still, but I don't know. I rated him at Sunderland. I thought he did a really good job, but then you compared Burnley's Tom Heaton, who's done like a better job, if you will. I think with a better defensive run to him, Pickford will do really, really well. I think obviously Sunderland were that bad defensively that it made Pickford look good anyway, even if they were conceding, say, 2 or 3 a game. He probably kept it down, to be fair to him. It could have been like 4 or 5 a lot of the games, and he probably kept it down to like 2 or 3. I think it's a good move for Everton. They did need a goalkeeper. Stekelenburg, not good enough. His save rate's awful. Robles usually makes mistakes, so that's not good either. They need like a long-term stable keeper, and that's what they've gone for. Everton could, if it's done right, have a long-term team that could do very, very well. With the likes of like Holgate, Calvert-Lewin, Lookman, you know, they've got a lot of young players, as well as Pickford, who could potentially, you know, build a team around. You know, you got like Kenny, who played in the Under-20 World Cup as well. So it's a very good sign for Everton. I'm just a bit sceptical about the price. Next up is John Terry. He's obviously leaving Chelsea on a free, and West Brom have begun talks to sign Terry. There's a lot of talk about like Bournemouth going for John Terry, but I don't think they will. I think, you know, he's almost like a Tony Pulis player. Tony Pulis seems to get like the best of the players, even if they are a bit older, just like Darren Fletcher. Next up is Chris Smalling. He has been told apparently that he can leave Manchester United, obviously with the signing of Lindelof. I think Lindelof and Bailey will be the two main centre-backs, with the likes of Blind and Jones supporting them. It kind of leaves a question of, you know, where's Smalling going to end up, and apparently it looks like he may leave. All, like, you know, there's a fair amount of clubs wanting to go in for Chris Smalling. West Ham, West Brom and Everton are all like the 3 front runners who are wanting to try and get him. I think West Ham will play big to try and get him and sort out their defensive problems. Next up is Harry Maguire. This is a strange one. Apparently it's going for like 16 million towards like 20 million for a player who's had, you know, barely a season playing at centre-back for Hull. I think I found it a bit strange, but Leicester have made that bid of 16.5 million. Looks like it is going to be accepted, and they are going to pay him around £80,000 a week to go and play there, which is just mental for me. I think, you know, that just shows how not overrated but overpriced English players are, because, you know, I think Maguire did all right, but 16 million for him, geez, that's a lot of money. Next up, Tom Ince as well. He's another one that is looking to like try and get back into the Prem. Huddersfield wants the Derby winger for their Prem season. I think they do need to make a fair few signings. Also, the clubs that came up, Huddersfield are probably the ones that look like they're going to struggle at the moment. You know, Newcastle are pretty much built for the Premier League. They've got a really good side still, lots of quality in there. Brighton probably need a few signings for me. I think Newcastle are the better side out of the 3. And then Huddersfield, you know, they've done a miracle for me in getting up. You know, they're better sides in the Championship, for example, like Norwich, Fulham, Derby, all had better sides on paper, but Huddersfield done absolutely brilliantly to get to the Premier League. Next up is Andrew Robertson. Getting Leeds to move away from Hull, obviously, you know, that's that exodus of going down. And Burnley is set to be the first club to bid for Robertson from Hull. I think it'd be a really good signing for Burnley. A really strong left-back for me. And he's very, very good going forward at the same time. If clubs can get him on the cheap, I'd be really pleased no matter who it was. Andre Wisdom's next up. He's never really made it at Liverpool. And to be honest, when you're getting shipped out on loan to like Red Bull Salzburg, you know it's time to move on. And it looks like he's going to be doing that. He's set for a move to Derby, and he's actually 24 now. You know, it kind of says like that his career hasn't really gone anywhere. He's set to move to Derby in a deal worth 4.5 million. But you know what? He'll do a decent job. I think he's a decent player. He just needs some first team football. He needs to be like a player who's going to be on the team sheet no matter what, rather than like a bit part player at clubs or going out alone. He just needs to be in a first team scenario where he's playing football and getting on with it. Next up, Samir Nasri obviously went on loan to Sevilla, and Manchester City actually struggling to sell him. They've had a 16 million asking price, which they're set to reduce to try and get rid of him. Now, I know Nasri's on at least 100k at Manchester City, so they are looking to try and get rid of him, get rid of that wage bill, but also raise funds for more potential transfer signings. Tom CAIRNEY is next up. Fulham are turning down £20 million bid from Newcastle for Tom CAIRNEY. It's a lot of money to turn down. 20 million for a player. I think Newcastle will eventually sign him. I think Fulham are just trying to rinse them for a little bit more money, and I can see him go for like 22, 23, maybe 24 million pounds, but I think he will eventually leave Fulham. Everton are rumoured to be in interest for Carlos BACCA. I think that's massive for me. BACCA has got real quality. Everton are apparently in Milan to discuss BACCA transfer targets, as well as a few others. From what I've read, apparently one of the Everton associates is there to speak to about, I think, like 6 players of Milan's, and that is both AC and Inter Milan. So it's BACCA, I think it's Lapdula, I think it's Murillo from Inter Milan. There's like 6 players that apparently they are interested in and are going to try and get a deal done for. Obviously, with AC Milan and both Inter Milan having money now, apparently, they might have an exodus, and I think Everton are going to try and take advantage of that. I say, I'm pretty sure it's about 6 names that they're going to try and go for. Andre Lacazette is next up. Obviously, he's kind of in a bad place at the moment. He had that agreed deal to go to Atletico Madrid, which hasn't happened. And the Lyon president came out and said, Arsenal can have the striker if they give cash plus Giroud, which would be a fantastic deal for Lyon. I don't know how much the cash would be, but to get like a player who's got quality such as Giroud and get money for Lacazette, that would be immense. Obviously they don't want to lose him, but they're resigned to anyway. They pretty much almost sold him to Atletico Madrid anyway. Marco Verratti is next up. He has told PSG he wants that Barcelona move. Apparently he said it's now or never to make that Barcelona move, and PSG don't want to sell him. They've got no interest in doing that, but they may be forced to if Verratti pushes the move. Ruben Neves next up. Both Liverpool and Chelsea want the 20-year-old from Porto. Now, when he first broke onto the scene as an 18-year-old, lots of clubs were interested in him then. It's kind of died off a bit. I think clubs kind of thought, hang on a minute, let's wait a season or two and see what this guy is all about, see if he can hack it long term. And that is exactly what clubs have done. And now, I say, both Liverpool and Chelsea are going to go back in for the 20-year-old, but I can imagine he'll cost a pretty penny. Next up is Fabio Borini. He has interest from Brendan Rodgers at Celtic. No surprises there. Rodgers absolutely loves him for some reason at Celtic, but he wants a Sharia a move. He doesn't want to move to Celtic. He'd rather try and go back to Italy and reinvent his career there. I think he's wasted that wide for me. You've got to put Borini up front to get the best out of him. So he needs to go to probably a lower club and be the main striker for me. Kovacic is next up. I think he's wasted at Real Madrid, really not getting his chance. To be fair, the midfield that Real Madrid have got, it's hard for him to get into. The only player that he may get out of the team is Casemiro, but even then he's been absolutely excellent. So it's a bit harsh on Kovacic. I think he's a really fantastic player, and that is kind of signalled in the interest in him. Both Arsenal and Spurs are in the run, but haven't made a bid yet for the Croatian. And finally, we end on Kajaya, obviously getting linked with a fair few moves. Arsenal have apparently made a £12 million bid for the Fenerbahce centre-back. Now, Arsenal got Gabriel, Holding, Koscielny, Mustafi, even Chambers when they come back. They've got 5 centre-backs there potentially, and they're still going to go for Kajaya, which says to me that maybe one of them might be leaving, possibly Gabriel. So you go, guys, lots of big rumours. It's got to be those Everton moves for me. BACCA, that Pickford deal is probably the biggest one. But guys, if you did enjoy, make sure you do drop a like, and I shall see you in the next one.